Hi, this is Melanie at Pardesi Reviews, and I'm joined with Kathy of Cinema Podcast, and we're going to talk about the Mahesh Babu movie, Athadu. So Athadu means just him or he. Okay. And I have to tell you what happened as I was watching this film last night. My husband walked through the room, and he doesn't remember actors' names unless it's Shah Rukh Khan, but he was like, he's like, it's him! It's the ears guy.
What?
He thinks Mahesh has really big ears.
Oh, no.
He's like,
I guess he kind of does.
Okay, I think he just is adorable, but then I couldn't stop looking at it.
Oh, no.
Anyway,
oh, my God.
Right. So
a comment like that can change your whole perspective.
So, Kathy, this was your first Mahesh Babu film,
yes.
And I felt like you needed to watch one because Mahesh Babu is one of the biggest stars in Telugu cinema, and he has a huge film coming out in January of this of 2024, and the January film is called Guntur Karam, which means Spice of Guntur, but it's a rematch with him and this same director of Athadu. So that was another reason why, of all the, because viewers of my channel know I'm a big fan of Mahesh. And so of all of his films, there's so many great ones that I could have chosen, but I picked this one partially because it's the same director that's going to be coming up of the upcoming film. So the director is Trivikram Srinivas, and he did also, you might have seen his film in 2020, this director's film with Alu Arjun. Okay, I'm really going to blow this. I'm sorry. Ala Vaikunta Puranalo, I think is the name of it. That one. It's impossible for me to say. But anyway, the 2020 film with Alu Arjun, which is a really excellent film. But anyway, so watching this 2005 film, there were so many supporting actors who have gone on that I see in so many movies, right? Like, I don't know that this was necessarily their first thing, but like even I didn't write down his name, but even the guy that confronts him at the carnival kind of, outdoor festival, and that guy. And I was like, wait, he's acting like a gangster. He's always a comedian. And then, of course, the scene turned comedic. I'm like, oh, yeah.
That's like, okay.
But I mean, I like his friend that he admits that he is not, not that, he's not really the long lost son. He admits that the one friend of the childhood friend that's played by Sunil, who's been in so many films, Prakash Raj, who I maybe the first one you saw him in was OK Kanmani, playing a very sweet married guy. Yeah. Very, he's playing the hard-hitting investigator or whatever. So, so many supporting actors. But anyway, and Trisha.
Yes, Trisha.
You have seen, we've seen 96, Pani and Selvin, right? Like,
yeah, she's huge.
Very accomplished actress. And here she's in her early 20s. And oh my God.
So young. And she seemed like she was 15. I mean, she was acting like this little girl. It was like, wow, okay. She's like a little girl with a crush. So cute.
So I will say that Mahesh Babu in his recent films in his 40s has had like hour-long flashback parts where he plays a college student. And I'm like, okay, my God, my dude. Like,
my dude.
My dude. But here he actually does look age appropriate for everything that is happening.
Young and younger. That's what he looks like in this.
But he just does have that kind of baby face.
He does have a baby face. You're right. I remember you saying, you got to see this movie. He has a baby face. I'm like, yeah, he really does. But that like works in his favor because that's why he's so disarming. Because he just looks like this nice, sweet, and he's so not, which I loved. It's like he's this cute and then just awful. Especially the opening scenes. Like, holy shit.
The opening scenes where we see him as some kind of like orphan street child who's just commits this murder for money.
Right from the jump.
Like, that is the first thing we see of him is him killing somebody. It's like,
there's the cold blood almost just in the car.
I thought that whole opening sequence, which I had frankly forgotten about, is really kind of incredible. Yeah. Right? Really like setting up this character. Because we could have just started with him as an adult, seen him done some hitman job, whatever. Yeah. To set up why he was so badass for this politician to try to hire him to precisely shoot me, but don't kill me.
Yeah, what a great idea, right?
You know?
God, don't have someone kind of just ding you a little bit with a bullet. Is too high risk.
But the fact that they showed him as this badass child, young teen, who didn't have any compunction about killing just to survive, and also help this one gangster escape and whatever, because who's going to even look at a child that manages to have safety pins on his necklace so that he can pick locks and get.
That was great.
Wow.
That was great.
It was incredible.
And it was beautifully shot too. Like the camera work was really great, because when you see the scene and the camera kind of spins around and you see this great long shot and the gun pointing at the guy who's run out, and it's just this gorgeous, dark in the car behind him where the guy's been shot. It's just great framing, just beautiful camera work. So it's that kind of thing that you sort of forget about as you're watching the movie, but sometimes it just really pops out to be just like, they made this scene happen. It was supposed to be impactful and memorable, and it really was. It was like, yes, great.
I mean, I would say the action scenes in this film are really great. But why this film is one of my favorites is the emotional scenes. And in particular, it's not even, although I do love the scene where he's kind of teasing and fighting with Trisha's character, and he closes in on her and their lips accidentally meet, and she is so stunned she falls to the floor. She's just like,
that was so funny.
Okay, and he is just like rendered speechless, like, what did even just happen?
What happened? She's too young for you, dude.
Kathy knows how I love my romantic movies, and that is just one of
it's a great scene.
It
was really good, because they've been teasing that for so long. You're finally, and then almost like her, you're like, oh my god, oh yeah, of course you pass out. That's of course what would happen.
But to me, like, the heart of the movie is that here's this, we saw, it was established in these opening scenes that he was a street kid. He never had a family. Okay. And so then when he's torn up about this poor guy was killed accidentally when he leaned over to get him a snack on the train, and in his stead. And it's also a way to hide out. And he goes to this village and he pretends to be this guy that has was going to reunite with his long-lost family. He ran away when he was 12. Yeah. And so, like, the scene where his hand is wrapped in a bandage or something, and his aunt hand feeds him food, and he starts crying. Yeah. And she's like, oh, does it really hurt? And he just, like, does the wipe his eye thing. And like, that scene. Can't do the scene.
It was so sweet. And you're in a way, I was almost too, like, in the double-edged sword, sort of worried about the family, because he's a hitman. He did some terrible things in the opening scenes, right? And you're wondering, like, it's going to catch up with him, put everyone in danger, or he's going to have to do something terrible. Like, there was always that tension. Like, I was rooting for him, but I'm like, you're putting these people in a bad way. Like, there's people looking for you, and it's not going to be good. So that was always kind of in the background. And I love, there's some great action scenes, which I love, these big action scenes, like in a rural field, which was amazing, where you text me and go, I'm rewatching it. Machetes are out.
Machete fight.
And I'm like, that's right. Machete time is fun time. Because the machete fights are so unbelievable in these films. This was a really good one.
I mean, they just kick the machete from the ground and it lands up in their hand, and as you do.
Yeah. Whenever I'm using my machete and I throw it in the air, I always catch it perfectly right. If you learn to catch it right.
But I do love, like, how he kind of takes his family on as his own, and he's like, wait, this guy thinks he's going to intimidate you, and just put a fence on your land and take over. No.
And they're all like,
I love how the guy who's just sitting there in his chair, like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do to me?
Don't tempt me.
And Mahesh just calmly pulls out a gun, like, yeah, this is what I'm going to do.
It's like, don't get all cocky. It's like, I got shit to prove here. So that was really, and in a way you like that too, because he's bringing with him, like, that hitman energy. So he's going to help them and protect them. But again, that kind of stuff doesn't really gain you friends, and it also gets attention. Right. So you're also getting a little worried that his undercover isn't going to work if he's going to keep pulling out hitman stunts, Right. So there's always a little tension in there.
Would the grandson of this guy, like, really do it? But
I know, it's like, oh, I don't know. And it was sad, because you felt like he's lying to this family. they think their son's come back. We know the son is dead, which is also terrible. And it's like, oh God, there's so much terror. There's so much terrible stuff going to happen to this poor family. And so that was also kind of the sad part. You're waiting for the reveal, and eventually that's going to have to happen. And they did it in a really great way. I thought it wasn't even a simple, like, or over dramatic way. I liked its sort of weird quietness, like the weird sort of low key for a second. It was really well done.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And because this grandfather has been so stern, and you're just like, this
almost
guy,
like you didn't believe him, almost like you're not sure the grandfather was on board or not. Exactly.
Well, you're like, this guy's going to explode. He's going to, you didn't even know what he was going to say, what he was going to do. And the fact that, like I said, rewatching, I don't know how many times I've seen this movie. This may have been the 4th time I've seen it, but scene where Mahesh character says, you don't need to sell land. How much do you need for this wedding?
Yeah.
How much do you need for the, and just writes the check. But what I'm realizing now is the grandfather is looking at the signature on the check, and the signature is not Pradu.
Exactly.
It's like Nandagopal or something like that, right? Definitely the beginning of the signature is an end. It is not a P.
That's right. That's right.
And so sort of like, grandfather knows really from that moment.
That's true.
And so you feel like the grandfather is smart. We see him playing chess, whatever. Like he kind of figures it out, but yet they've developed this rapport, this relationship. It's just very complicated. I love it. It's just nothing is just simple. Nothing is just black and white. And you're right. You have this fear for the family, but yet and everybody else in the family is ready to just kick this guy out. Like, you're not who you said you were. What? Yeah,
you've lied to this. And I have to say, I'd probably be in their camp because, you don't know what else he's lied about. You don't really know who he is. Like, the fact he would so easily integrate himself and also lie in a terrible way, pretending to be someone who he isn't, who's actually dead, and he knows he's dead. And it's just kind of like, oh, it's not. So yeah, I would probably be a little less sympathetic, but yeah.
But I think all these years, also the grandfather has realized, because we don't know what he said to that 12-year-old child that ran away. And he's dealt with that guilt and seen what it did to the rest of the family, to have this gaping hole in their family. Yeah. And so, you kind of feel like, okay, this Nassar is so great. Like this actor that played the grandfather, it's complicated, right? Like he's seen how having this guy in their family healed the family in a lot of ways. Yeah. And he has eyes. He's seen what's going on with Trisha too. Yeah. Like seeing everything that this guy has shown us has only been good. I was going to accept my grandson back, not knowing what he had done all of those years.
That's true.
Yeah. So it's complicated, and I love that it's complicated.
Yeah, it wasn't easy, and you really weren't sure how to feel about it. He was clearly our way in and our protagonist, and he has the look that makes you want to like him, just that little cute face. But he is like a hardcore, criminal. So you're always a little worried about it. But you want redemption for characters. Yeah. So I felt like it was a redemption for him, that he could also help this family, but also find redemption. So you're like, he didn't want to be that guy anymore. Like he realized now family's love, he could heal with that.
His speech to Trisha, where like at the beginning when he first meets her, he's like, who is this brat who thinks she's the shit? Like,
I know, because you're not pretty. Your nose is weird. And your eye is off. Like,
totally like his little speech to her, like, I didn't know you could be that beautiful. He's like, because he's like, I have changed. The way I'm looking at you has changed. It's not that you've changed. I have changed in the way I'm looking at you. And I think that you're right. Like he had never seen, what is it like to live in a big family home like that? To be a part of a family, to be cared by a family. He didn't even know that could be a possibility for him. Like he didn't even know what he was missing until he was hiding. I'm like, oh my God, Kathy, like it just like melts me. Like
so sad. I know there was so much emotion in there. That's what I loved about it. But I feel like if it had been done in America, it'd be this big badass hitman. It'd be all this like, the bratty teen daughter and everybody's like, there'd be no emotional depth. But I feel like they brought in extra. They brought in a little extra depth. Everybody had a different level of involvement with him, and the amount of forgiveness and what they wanted from this guy or didn't want, you know, and what he needed, you know. I feel like that's what I loved about this movie. Is it was an easy action film that they gave a little more depth to, which was really good.
I mean, the only thing that I could give as comparable, and again, that was not a romance, would be like something like The Professional, like where you have this little girl that becomes, you know, friends with a hitman who has isolated himself from everyone.
Yes,
becomes his family. That is the only Hollywood thing, because again, it's like it's either action or it's emotional drama. It is not both.
Right.
You don't have all of these layers in one Hollywood film typically. If it's action, it's action.
Yeah.
And how much were you laughing at the final confrontation in the church with the pigeons flying?
First of all, it was a perfect tribute to John Woo. This was like pure, like they did that in Face Off, also John Woo movie. Yeah. Where you have a church scene with pigeons flying around while you're having a big gun battle is so perfect, because in a way it was like, imagine this is the big action sequence we need in this movie, but in a way it was kind of this knowing wink of like, of course this is what it would feel like. And I love too, they have all these pigeons flying and the pigeons keep landing, like trying to sit. They keep like, get off of me.
I mean, but it really shows. I mean, yes, Mahesh is doing wire work, but he's being badass at doing this wire work. Like,
so good. It was a great scene.
He was so badass and just twisting and shooting and like, oh my god, like
it was so perfect. Awesome. It was a perfect scene, and I love the eventual conclusion to that scene was shocking. Like, and the way they showed it, the gun backfiring, they showed the inside of the gun almost like X-ray like, so you can get a quick shot of what's happening, and then boop, the bad guy.
Had you totally forgotten about the kids with the
Yes, I totally forgot about it.
The first time I saw the film, I totally forgot. And now I knew.
Now it seems super obvious.
Watching this time, I was watching that scene and I was watching how he puts it back on the wall. Like, and how the grandfather tells him, my son died because there was a stone and it backfired. Like they explained it all. Right?
Not even register
because it's 2 hours ago.
Exactly. 2 hours. And we don't even know anymore what that meant. It's like so great. And it's like, yeah, I put a stone in it, so we're just gonna leave marbles and things. That's what we're gonna do. But that was great because no one thought of that.
And also, in a way, it was that the family saved him, right?
That's right. Yeah, you're right.
Because the family was one that saved him. The kids in the family were the ones that put the marble in.
That's right.
It was the gun that it was meaningful to the family because it had killed his, you know, his assumed identity's father.
Right.
And the grandfather handed him the gun and said, solve your problem and come back.
Here. I love that.
He handed it to him.
I love that.
So there's just, again, so many layers. Now, you may not have recognized the guy that he has the big fight scene with in the church, who had been his, you know, the driver guy. That's Sonu Sood, who is huge, like huge, literally. Like, I think the man is like 6'6".
Huge, literally. He's literally massive.
So when you have Mahesh, who's very tall, like that, you literally, like physically, he is a match for him. Sonu Sood is mostly in Hindi films. Occasionally, you know, I think he came from South industry, but he's known more for his Bollywood films. But he's frequently the villain because he's so tall and intimidating.
Yeah,
and he has his presence, like you know.
He's
so
very regal.
This is a pretty small role for him. I have seen him do so much else. I've seen him do crazy comedy too. But yeah, I was just like looking at this movie and thinking, oh my god, Sonu Sood gets so little screen time in this, but like he's so awesome. And I'm just like clocking, and this is 2005. All of these people, I'm like, oh yeah, I've seen that. Love this guy. This guy.
I love that. It's sort of like everybody's big star making moment happens in the same movie. That's so good.
I think this film, when it came out, was modestly successful, but it's kind of become a cult classic, and you can see why. Like, it has a lot of repeat watchability. I will totally admit that the music is by Mani Sharma. Not all of the dance numbers, like some of them get a little wacky, a little dated.
Yeah, a little. It seemed a little, I know, and it didn't feel. it felt kind of out of place in the movie to me. Like, I know that's how they kind of do that.
Yeah, well, it's like a fantasy sequence, right?
Yeah, the fantasy stuff.
Like, we just
but inside this movie,
now we're going to have this whole fantasy song sequence on.
I just didn't want to see him in his like flowery shirt or his white, it just didn't work for me. I wish they kept him still a little badass in the music things, but I mean, the complete wardrobe shift was kind of jarring.
I did like the wedding song. What's happening around the wedding.
That was good.
Where she's really dancing and he's just like totally captivated. But yeah, some of the other stuff got a little, I'm like, okay, now we're dressing up in hip hop. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I think the wardrobe changes were the jarring part of it, because the music was kind of fun. I liked what the story they were trying to tell, what the music and the songs would come in, but the wardrobe changes did not seem necessary. That's just me, not my movie. I'm
not going to say that Mahesh is known as the best dancer in Telugu cinema. I mean, I would say there's other people that maybe are a little bit, but I think he does a pretty good job. And I mean, he definitely does it. He looks like he's giving 150%. Like, he's not just
he's trying,
doing the motions. Like,
he's not just doing the motions. He's really trying, you guys. He tried his best.
No, he is really good. To me, I love how he has that dichotomy, and this film is perfect for it, where he can be completely badass in action and also so sweet in love scenes, or like when the mom was feeding him, that you're just like, oh,
so sweet. I know, and he just seems damaged, and you want him to be better. he didn't even shoot the guy that he was hired to shoot and just wound.
I know.
All of his hitman stuff was kind of like an accident. Like, the one other guy gets shot because he bends over. He gets killed by some other. It's like,
we do see him knife that guy in the street.
No, he did kill some people. Yeah, but the big jobs he's hired for that they show he kind of screwed up. The politician thing was kind of shocking.
Well, it was that the guy paid somebody else to kill him.
Right.
I mean, he was just going to be set up
as
the ball guy.
That's right.
Because literally the police were set to show up 2 seconds after the shot happened.
I love too when he's on the side of the roof, and I love that. I would never get tired of the scene where they go up over and they point down, and it's like vertigo. Oh my god! And I see people standing next, like the very edge of a rooftop. It's like, but he figures it out.
He swings down like Tarzan, and you think, how is he going to get out of this?
Why is there a rope there? No idea, but it just happens to be there. We're going to use it.
He's going to jump down on this train.
He planned it to get away. I don't know, but it was still a great scene. It was still a fun scene. It was classic, swinging in and landing on a train. It was all just great action movie tropes that I really enjoyed. So I was all there for it.
So I'm excited that this director and Mahesh are teaming up again.
Yeah.
Because I think, I don't know anything about the upcoming film. At most, maybe we've seen a teaser poster, which I didn't bother to look for, but it's Mahesh. So I'm just telling you, Kathy, it's a big event, which is why I was like, okay, Kathy needs to know.
I need to know.
This is a big deal.
That's what I love is you give me movie assignments for context. Like, it's like, you need to see this because this is coming out, or we need to see this because we need to know more about this director because they're doing this. And that's what I'm really liking, because otherwise I'm just shooting in the dark. I'm just randomly watching.
I mean, the trailers start coming out. And so you need to have an idea of why this is a big deal. Because the last film that Mahesh did was in 2022. So it's been 2 years, or at least 18 months since he's had a big film. And he's one of the biggest stars. And so any film that he does is going to be an event. And I'm excited that he's teaming up with this director again, too. All right.
Yeah,
so this is Kathy. We got to talk posters.
We got to. It's required.
It's part
of everyone.
It's written in the contract.
It's part of the promotion. So we do. We like to look at it. And it's fascinating to see how they do it.
All right. So this one...
Great shot.
Kind of a classic. And I think this is like supposed to be kind of like in the church, right?
Yeah, definitely the church.
Gothic doorway.
And we have the wind blowing, pigeons in the background.
I don't even see the pigeons. Okay.
See, he's sitting there. It's not flying though. It's just sitting on the little thing back there. Like, I wish they kind of showed more maybe some pigeons flying or a little more debris. Because I mean, he has his coat blowing and everything, but nothing else is really moving. So it would have been nice.
And you think about how much stuff got blown around in that church. Oh my God, they destroyed that
stuff. I mean, pieces of wood, rock, dust, smoke. They have a little bit of smoke on the ground, but it should have been in front of him.
Like even as he's like walking, like shooting the shotgun up the floor.
Yeah,
everything is happening.
But I love the palette's great. I love the slight green and kind of beige hue. It gives it a little extra.
Yeah, I mean, he gives good action face.
That's a great pose. It's great. Yeah,
and this one, I wonder if this one was kind of a teaser. And because this is a pivotal scene in the movie when he meets the long lost guy who's going back to his family. And so...
And he was so nice. It was this really sad because he was this, and I was like, first of all, you're being way too nice to a stranger. You're being way too accommodating. You are gonna die soon. There's no way around it.
He just knew, right?
He just knew. Just don't talk to the hitman on the train. But yeah,
you feel so bad for this family. Like they've had the poster up for 12 years or whatever it is. God. And that this guy never knew, and he happened to come for business and see it. I'm like, oh my God.
I know, it's really sad. And it's also sad that he ran away and not once thought to go back. So you're a little bit peeved at him for like, okay.
When you're saying he's such a nice guy, I'm like, yeah, but you never called your mom.
Exactly. That's like, you're so nice, but what the hell, dude?
Anyway, but I love he's nice, so pensive and whatever. Yeah. And then this one may have been kind of a DVD cover or something. I don't know if it's a DVD but I mean, definitely that's the thing with Telugu movies. They each poster can show you a completely different mood and feel of the film, because this is much more, okay, this is from a song, like they have a song at the bottom, right? And then it's showing, yes, it's a love story and
there's no action in this. This is pure love romance. So there's no, you would never know he was a hitman. You'd never know that he'd been lying to everyone. This is like, we're in love. That's all this poster is giving us.
Sweet. It's just all sweetness.
Very sweet. Big heads in the sky in black and white. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
So anyway.
That's very interesting. I love it. Very cool. First poster was the best, I think.
So I am glad that you enjoyed it because, I mean... I'm not going to say every Mahesh movie has been great. I famously went to see this film that was a total flop for him, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, Brahmanandam. And it was this big family drama. And I'm watching the film. I went to see it first day, first show. So I was like at a matinee show, okay? And I walk out and there was like a couple other guys who started talking. I'm like, that totally made it. I said, I don't know if the subtitles are just bad. I'm like, it just didn't make any sense. They're like, no, we speak Telugu. It didn't make any sense.
It didn't make any sense. That's funny. No, even in our own home language, it's not making sense.
They're like, no, that movie made no sense.
That's true. We are reliant on the subtitles to tell us, and sometimes.
But I mean, I still love the music from that movie, but it was just like, I mean, the hype was so high because he'd had a series of successes, and then it was a big flop. So
that's sad.
His more recent films have still been very successful, but overall, he's a huge star. So I'm crossing my fingers since Athadu was so great that this director and Mahesh together, you would think if they've had a couple of years to work on it, that hopefully.
Let's hope. Oh my God. Okay, we're rooting for you.
All right, so we'll be eagerly awaiting for teasers and trailers to come out for Guntar Karam. And if anybody has heard about anything about that movie, let us know in the comments because I'm anxiously awaiting. Now Kathy knows my crush for big ears.
Clearly, you have a thing for big ears as a parent.
Yeah.
Now I'm not gonna be able to unsee it now. No, stop. I'm gonna see her ears.
He's still cute.
He's still cute. It's okay. You can have big ears and be cute. It's okay.
So thanks again. You know where to find me. Please like, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff. And you have to check out Kathy's channel.
You have to.
Podcast, where we collaborate pretty much every week. So definitely you should be checking out her channel. If you like seeing us talking together.
There's a lot of it because we have a lot to talk about.
All right. Thanks, Kathy.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.